we all want to eat healthy, but we also want to eat fast. Nobody likes to stay hanging around in the kitchen all day, cooking for 2 and 3 and 4+ hours, having no time for anything. Nobody wants that. We want our food and we want it now, right? Right. So today I have not just one, but 2 low-carb meals that are ready to eat in under 30 minutes. The one is ready in under 15 minutes. Can't get any quicker than that. The 2 recipes are, one is for island steak over jicama rice, and the other one is for keto chicken Alfredo over veggie noodles. They're both so good and so easy. And if you want printable versions of these, then check out my website at janet'sdeliciouslowcarbkitchen.com. You can find printable versions of these recipes and other goodies there for you. And if you're new to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Also, don't forget to hit the little notification bell. That way you can be notified every time I put out a new video. And while you do that, let's get cooking. Preheat your oven to 400 degrees. Lightly spray a 3-quart casserole dish with cooking spray. Peel and shred 1 medium jicama and spread it on the bottom of the prepared casserole dish. Once the jicama has been shredded, it should equal about 2 to 3 cups of jicama rice. Now for those of you who don't know what a jicama is, it is your new low-carb best friend. A jicama it's a root vegetable, kind of like a potato or a turnip. It's native mostly to Mexico, and it's also known as a Mexican turnip. The texture of it, once it's peeled, is similar to a raw potato, and the taste of it when you eat it raw is slightly sweet. When it's cooked, it pretty much has a neutral flavor, pretty much takes on the flavor of whatever you cook it with. But it is an excellent low-carb alternative to so many different things. I've used it before as a replacement for potatoes when I've made jicama fries or mashed jicama. I've also spiralized it and used it as a replacement for pasta when I've made sweet and sour meatballs. I've also cut it thin and used it as a substitute for pasta when I've made a jicama lasagna before. I mean, there's just so many different uses for it. It is wonderful. So if you have never used a jicama, I suggest you get familiar with them because they are great low-carb alternatives. That being said, in this particular recipe, we're going to use it as a rice replacement. So once it's been peeled and shredded, spread it across the bottom of your prepared casserole dish. Now, if you don't like jicama or can't find jicama, you can use cauli rice instead of jicama or another rice substitute of your choice. It's up to you what you want to use there. After you've spread the jicama rice across the bottom of the casserole dish, then top the jicama with 2 pounds of steak that have been cut into strips. You can use any type of steak you want. I'm using cap steaks. They're nice and tender. Cut them into strips about 2 inches wide. Then season them generously with seasoned salt and seasoned pepper. Make sure you use seasoned salt and seasoned pepper because it will give it a lot more flavor. You'll want to use a good amount of it because jicama absorbs flavor a lot. So you'll want to be pretty generous with the amount of seasoned salt and seasoned pepper that you use. That's why I emphasize seasoned salt and seasoned pepper rather than regular salt and pepper. After you've seasoned the steak and jicama with the seasoned salt and seasoned pepper, top the steak with 1 red bell pepper that's been cut into thin strips and 1 red onion that has also been cut into thin strips. Sprinkle with a little bit more of seasoned salt and pepper. Drain an 8-ounce can of pineapple chunks and set aside 1/4 cup of the juice that you've drained. Top the onion and bell pepper with 1 cup of the pineapple chunks. In a small bowl, combine 1/3 cup of oil of your choice. I'm using olive oil here. You can use whatever oil you have on hand. A 1/2 teaspoon of ground ginger, 1/4 teaspoon ground mustard, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, and the 1/4 cup of the reserved pineapple juice. Stir these together until they're fully combined and the seasonings are all equally distributed. Drizzle the mixture over the steak and vegetables. Use a spoon or a basting brush to distribute the marinade evenly over the top of the meat and the vegetables. Place it in the oven and bake it uncovered for up to 30 minutes. I cook mine just until it starts turning gray and it's just very little bit of pink there. If you like your steak a little more pink, then check it after about 15 or 20 minutes and see if it's cooked the way you like it. If you do take your steak out before 30 minutes, then make sure you put the jicama and the vegetables back into the oven until the 30 minutes are up completely. This ensures that the jicama absorbs all the flavor of the onion and the bell pepper. Remember I said jicama absorbs flavor pretty quick, so you want to make sure that that jicama and onion and bell pepper are cooked together for at least that 30 minutes. Once it's done cooking, remove it from the oven and let it stand in the casserole dish for about 3 to 5 minutes just to let all the flavor set in and make sure it's fully done cooking. Because remember, when you first take something out of the oven, it's still technically cooking for the first couple minutes that it's out. So let it sit for 3 to 5 minutes to really get done cooking and really get those flavors set in. Then spoon the desired amount onto a plate. And if you want to, you can drizzle a little bit of soy sauce over the top of the steak just to give it a bolder flavor. It's up to you how much flavor you want there. And there you have it. Island steak with jicama rice. Eat and enjoy. For the chicken Alfredo, place a 1/2 cup of butter in a large 12-inch skillet. Melt the butter completely over medium heat. If you need to, you can cut it up into small squares and it'll melt faster for you. While the butter is melting, spiralize 2 zucchini or 2 yellow squash to make them into zucchini or squash noodles. Or if you want to, you can use 2 cups of low-carb pasta instead. Just make sure that the pasta is low carb. If you want a good recipe for that, then check out my video on how to make low-carb pasta. In this case, we're using a combination of the spiralized zucchini and the spiralized yellow squash. Add 2 cups of heavy whipping cream, some seasoned salt and seasoned pepper according to your taste. I usually use around a 1/4 teaspoon of seasoned salt and about an 1/8 teaspoon of seasoned pepper, but it's up to your taste how much salt and pepper you want to use. Two teaspoons of garlic powder, and 1 teaspoon onion powder. Whisk these all together until they're fully combined. Keep whisking the mixture constantly until it comes to a low boil over medium heat. Once it comes to a low boil, reduce the heat to low and simmer it for about 1 to 2 minutes, stirring it constantly until it slightly thickens. Stir in 1 cup of grated Parmesan. Keep stirring it for about another 2 minutes or until the cheese is completely melted. Make sure you keep it on low heat because you don't want the bottom of it scorching. add 2 to 3 cups of chopped broccoli, 2 cups of cooked shredded chicken, add your spiralized veggie noodles, and break them up a little bit as you drop them into the skillet. You know, when you get done spiralizing a noodle, if you use a spiralizer, they pretty much come out into one piece. So you want to break them up until they're the length of a regular noodle. So just use your fingers and break them apart a bit. That way you don't just have one giant noodle. If you want to, sprinkle the top of it with a little bit of dry marjoram or basil, just to give it a little bit extra taste. That if you want to, that's optional. I like it, it gives it a little bit more of a boost. You know me, I'm all about flavor. Bring it all to a low boil over medium-low heat. Then reduce the heat to low and simmer it on low for about 5 minutes or until it's completely heated through. Scoop the desired amount that you want onto a plate and top it with a little bit more Parmesan cheese if you want to. Then eat it and enjoy it. And those are our recipes of the day. I hope you enjoyed them both. If you did, hit the like and the subscribe button. Leave me a comment if you want to. Let me know if there's any recipes that you'd like to learn how to make, and I'll do what I can to get those out there for you. And as always, keep cooking.